Hey there, prehistoric perverts. Today, we're diving fist first into Ubisoft's deliciously dumb open world time machine, Cry Primal. Forget the modern comforts of Spider-Man and lubrication. We're talking about a game where you paint your cave with mammoth shit, charm sabretooth house cats with raw riz, and spit on anything that moves. This prehistoric setting isn't just a novelty boner club, it's the whole meal. You fight Tooth and Splinter as Takar, a Wenja hunter staggering toward the fertile valley of Oros, while rival factions try to turn you into a decorative skull. The Udam, cannibal pussy vultures who treat your thigh meat like party mix, and the Azilla, fire-worshipping tyrants who'll torch the whole jungle but somehow leave your ass cheeks medium rare. Far Cry's always been about living off the land, and slamming us into the Stone Age is no different. It's like grinding sticks and stones together while trying to seduce a campfire into blowing your back out. You'll harvest anything not nailed to a mammoth, carve spears, bonk with clubs, and build huts for your Wenja mentors. But we're not here for the story, because, let's be honest, the narrative is as dry as your mum. No, we're here for the Platinum Trophy, that glorious chrome nipple of achievement with 51 hoops to jump through like a circus slut begging for dopamine.
What are you doing, step bro?
So bonk the like button like a tribal drum, confess in the comments which Far Cry critter you'd bravely let nibble your foot meat, and subscribe for more content my therapist labels educational self-harm. Alright, loincloth secured, let's raw dog the Far Cry Primal Platinum. The game immediately punts us off the evolutionary ladder and throws us straight into the combat loop. Me and a clutch of Wenja bros are hunting a mammoth across a ravine like we're trying to assassinate a hairy ballsack. It's a baptism of fire into the kill, craft, repeat cult. I caress spears into its woolly ribs and sidestep tusks flirting with my nipples aggressively until the big idiot topples over. And as I'm about to carve meat from its corpse, a saber-toothed tiger lunges from the shadows, mauls my friends, and forces me to flee. In the chaos, I tumble down a cliff and wake up alone, horny, and half naked, but surviving this opening disaster unlocks our first trophy of the playthrough. Licking my wounds, I follow a trail of smoke and stumble upon Sailor, a resourceful Wenja gatherer with a kink for collecting Udam ears like their Pokemon cards. She feeds me goat guts, shows me how to craft a bow, and leads me into the fertile valley of Oros. It's here that I meet Tensei the Shaman, a witch doctor who roofies my Gatorade with caveman shrooms and sends me on a psychedelic spirit quest. When he sobers up enough to stagger back to camp, he agrees to join my budding village. As you grow your village, you're introduced to specialists like Karush, a one-eyed warrior who loves headshots, Woga, a grumpy artisan who crafts weapons, and Jaima, an aloof huntress with a voice that could melt stone. Recruiting each of them nets you trophies like Deadeye, Mr. Fix-It, and Grey Huntress. It's like Pokemon for caveman, except instead of Pokeballs, you offer them mammoth meat and call them your friend. My introduction to Karush was him throwing Udam corpses into a bonfire at Mammoth Foot Pond. After turning a pack of cannibals into medium rare protein shakes, this one-eyed warlord looked at me like I'd just given him a prostate exam.
Hey yo!
He waddled into my tribe, unlocked my fight tree, and rewarded me with a trophy. Wogar kidnaps me into his crusty cave like a caveman Craigslist hookup, instantly assumes I'm here to rearrange his guts, and deadbolts the entrance with that one-arm hospitality that makes my cockadoodle doomstick deeply concerned. I'm doing parkour with fear and yoinking a grappling hook to Houdini my way out. Jaima is a stone-cold huntress who makes me prove myself by tracking a bear. Whether I poke it with a stick or whisper sweet nothings into its fur, she takes one look at my bear-stalking riz and unlocks the hunting tree, and she gives me a look like a prehistoric MILF, desperate for someone to rearrange her skill points and her pelvis.
Nice.
Building huts for these lunatics also nets a trophy. After upgrading any 2 huts, the home improvement trophy pops. It's like playing prehistoric Bob the Builder, while horny and covered in animal fur. As my tribe grew, the population counter climbed, rescuing random villagers, liberating bonfires, and capturing outposts till my tribe turned into a Stone Age orgy pit. The second we hit 20 members, subdivisions popped, hard proof my pull-out game is as non-existent as my dignity. Just when I'm finally cozying up in my caveman bachelor pad, the Udam crash the party. These swamp gremlin bombers turn up and blast me with a mist so rancid, it smells like a dinosaur with IBS microwaved its colon and exhaled onto my nipples.
God damn.
Once we repel them, Sailor orders a counterattack. We raid the Udam camp and torch 3 bone effigies that look suspiciously like prehistoric cock totems. Watching these girthy monuments crumble is therapeutic as hell. Mission wraps, spearproof pops, and the game basically says, congrats, your village can take a pounding. With a home defended, I indulge my inner explorer. Mapmaker tasked me with discovering 15 hidden locations across Oros. Each discovery reveals lore about lost tribes or mammoth hunts and makes me pump my fist like I've found a prehistoric clitoris. When the 15th location triggers, the trophy pops and I moan like an archaeologist hitting pay dirt. All that explorer energy bleeds straight into the grind that actually keeps me alive. Crafting. Hopping from shrine to shrine turns into a full caveman charcuterie board. My pockets are jingling so violently, it sounds like my inventory is lactating hemorrhoids, and my toolbox is begging for a safe word. While I'm roaming around like a horny Neanderthal, hunter vision lights up the world. Regular animals leave tracks, but rare beasts leave yellow fumes strong enough to make my pants pythons stand at attention. Following one through the jungle leads me to a rare black lion. After a tense chase, I feed it raw meat and whisper sweet nothings until it purrs and joins my army, unlocking fancy friend in the process. With camp popping off, my arsenal looking like a hoarder's wet dream, and 3 new friends who can't decide whether to hug me or murder me, it's time to march deeper into the wilds and turn the insanity dial past lactation mode. Midway through the plot, the map starts looking like Ubisoft smeared a handful of crayons across it while moaning. Yellow icons, orange icons, skulls, handprints. It felt like my retinas were getting fisted by the UI. But apparently, the specialist missions from Sailor, Tensei, etc. count as main story. Good to know, because completing 12 specialist pops the 12 Labours trophy and massages my prostate harder than a chiropractor with boundary issues. Mid-game also hits me with pure heartbreak. Ubisoft, being the certified dom it is, forces me to skin one of my own tame beasts for the Tears of Shame trophy. My loyal wolf gets folded by a wolf gangbang, and with a tear in my eye and my denim caged dragon doing the victory wiggle, I figure he's already a happy meal. What's one more violation? With my wolf freshly converted into a decorative pelt and my mental stability dangling by a single Wenja pubic hair, I figured it was time to expand the family. Far Cry Primal doesn't give you traditional companions, no. It gives you a literal Pokemon safari of prehistoric murder puppies, each hornier for violence than the last. By the time I snagged my 7th creature, the Menengerie trophy popped and my camp had officially turned into the Wenja ASPCA, but with fewer ethics and more cum-brained enthusiasm. And now that I had a full roster of emotionally unstable pets, it was time to weaponize them like God intended. Enter Sick'em. Kill 50 enemies using a tame beast. My Sabretooth was basically a furry cruise missile with anxiety issues. Point him at anything, a guard, a mammoth, a man just trying to take a shit, and he would launch forward with the sexual urgency of a boomer discovering Facebook Marketplace.
Well, that one, and that one.
But beasts weren't the only creature I was turning into prehistoric war crimes. No, Ubisoft also hands you a owl, this silent, wide-eyed, innocent little fluffball, and then casually lets you swoop down and snap necks like you're piloting a feathery tomahawk missile. At first, I thought the owl was just for scouting, tagging dudes, flapping around, maybe doing a polite little bird, but the second I found the swoop attack button, something inside me ignited like a prehistoric prostate fireworks show. A sinful, ancestral itch awakened, the kind that gets you social dick sensing points and lands you on 3 tribal watch lists. Naturally, all this beast-based slaughter wasn't free. Anytime I unleashed my Sabretooth, they'd come back staggering with half their health missing and wearing the exact look I got after trying to train legs. Bleeding, wobbling, and radiating the energy of someone whose balls just got emptied. Primal lets you heal your animals by hand-feeding them meat, and let me tell you, the animation is uncomfortably intimate. And given the way my beasts were getting punted, speared, set on fire, and occasionally body slammed by mammoths, I was healing them constantly. With my regular murder zoo already carrying enough trauma to qualify for a group discounted therapy, the game throws the apex for at me. 4 prehistoric bastards built to penetrate my chocolate starfish.
Brother,
First up was the Bloodfang Sabretooth, a cracked out murder kitty that launched at me with such violent enthusiasm, my spine tried to unsubscribe from my body. The impact was so loud I'm pretty sure my ancestors held a tribal meeting about noise pollution. After that was the Great Scarbear, a prehistoric refrigerator with claws so oversized I swear the physics engine started clenching. Every footstep sounded like it was auditioning to turn my pelvis into abstract art. Then came the Snowblood Wolf, a frosted blur of violence that hit me so fast it felt like someone attempted back alley spinal surgery with a sharpened icicle. I didn't see a wolf, I saw a malpractice lawsuit sprinting at 40 kilometers an hour. Finally, the Blood Tusk Mammoth, a tusk tank running on pure emotional instability. It barreled toward me with the kind of momentum only a beast with unresolved parental neglect could muster, and my sphincter tightened hard enough to generate electricity. Fresh off taming the entire cast of Ice Age, the game immediately shoved me into the side quest mines, the holy trinity of prehistoric busywork. First came the Beast Kill quests, which are basically the Wenja equivalent of someone pointing at a spider in their bathroom and going, "Hey, can you deal with that?" 5 of those later, the trophy chimed like a microwave telling me my suffering was ready. Then came the Help Wenja missions, basically running a charity for a tribe whose collective IQ is held together by mammoth and optimism. 15 errands later, I'd earned enough goodwill to breastfeed the entire tribe. Lastly, the Tribal Clash missions. Neolithic gang violence where my Wenja allies drop dead faster than a porn star with erectile dysfunction. After 10 of those sweaty, butt-clenching arenas and carrying the whole tribe on my emotionally unstable shoulders, the trophy popped and my spirit escaped my ass like a freedom-seeking denim fart.
What did he say?
With every apex beast tamed and my village now classified by the FDA as a cult with bonus nipple worship, the Platinum finally bent me over and handed me a checklist of prehistoric war crimes. Far Cry Primal's combat trophies are basically the devs dumping every Stone Age weapon into my lap and whispering, hit something until your ass vibrates. First, the bow, my faithful long-range prostate tickler. The only weapon in Oros that didn't immediately give me emotional hemorrhoids. The 100 kills for sharpshooter happened naturally, mostly because I was too socially anxious to fight up close and preferred to spread cheeks from 2 postal codes away. Then came the distant flexes, 50 feet with a spear and 70 feet with an arrow. Half the attempts I missed, the other half the spear bounced off a pebble, but 2 blessed shots later, we got 2 prehistoric climax pops. Next up were the throwing shards, prehistoric ninja stars crafted by a man whose brain is basically 2 neurons doing slap fights. Landing hits with these felt less like combat and more like bullying someone with discounted kitchenware. Takedowns though, pure therapy. I lovingly seized 25 men by the neck, gave them the emotional intimacy their dads never did, and submitted them to the dirt with the force of a horny linebacker. Then Ubisoft casually told me to kill dudes with bees.
Not the beast! Not the beast!
10 kills later, after hurling buzzing hate balls and watching warriors collapse like they'd been dicked by Mother Nature, the trophy popped and I genuinely wondered if I was playing Far Cry or participating in a demonic National Geographic snuff film. Then came riding kills. 25 poor bastards turned into organic pancakes while I bulldozed through camps on my furry war Uber. This wasn't fighting, this was vehicular homicide with tittier ragdolls. The sling? Bro, getting 10 kills with that glorified pebble flinger felt like I was trying to kill a mammoth using nothing but emotional damage. Every shot wheezed out of my hands like disappointing escape in my soul's butthole. Traps? 10 kills by tricking caveman into stepping on spicy floor tiles. It felt less like combat and more like directing a prehistoric Home Alone reboot starring brain-damaged toddlers. Poison time. 25 dudes violently hallucinating their own regrets until they face planted into oblivion. I didn't fight the Udum, I gave them all a psychedelic colonoscopy. Time for the heavy hitters, the weapons Ubisoft hands you with a wink and they go nuts king. Clubs, 100 skull cracking kills. I bonked so many dudes I'm pretty sure I kickstarted evolution out of sheer blunt trauma and made Bonnie Blue jealous. Spears, another 100 kills. By the end, my throwing arm was so jacked it could have lactated testosterone. Fire, 50 enemies barbecued alive. I turned the battlefield into a DIY crematorium sponsored by Bunnings. After an entire prehistoric lifespan spent turning enemies into bonk-flavoured fossils and delivering club-based therapy to the entire ecosystem, it was finally time to hit the story beat Ubisoft kept politely bringing up between trophy nutshots. And the Platinum? That thirsty beast was drooling, legs shaking, and giving me the kind of wink you only see in caveman porn scribbles. First on the hit list, the Udum. Those frostbitten cannibal mutants have been chasing me around Oros like I stole their Fortnite skins. All, their rage-powered leader kept grunting at me from cutscenes with the energy of a father who just found the condom wrapper in his daughter's hut.
What the hell is even that?
So I marched into their territory, ready to bonk his prehistoric cheeks into the next ice age. But the Udum weren't about to roll over. The moment I stepped foot inside their frosty hellhole, they grabbed me and tossed me into a cave like I just booked the worst reviewed caveman Airbnb on the continent. Uncaged is Ubisoft's love letter to pain. What if we took all your gear, turned off the lights, and made you fistfight plague-ridden cave dudes with IBS? I'm crawling through tight tunnels, coated in mud, spores up my nose, sounding like Gollum after a night out with the boys. When I finally claw my way out into the cold air, the trophy pops like a sad little forehead kiss from an emotionally unavailable caveman. Then comes the hunt for all, the moment the game stops edging me and finally drops the climax. I storm his glacier ass camp with my apex death zoo behind me, and the Udum crashed into me instantly like unwashed congoers sprinting towards 3 lanyards. I barely scrape out alive, clutching my nipples like they're heirlooms. Then he appears, massive, feral, built like a brick shithouse that failed anger management twice. The fight is caveman chaos, me machine gunning spears into a man who clearly moisturizes with animal blood. When he finally kills over, I don't feel victorious, I feel like I've done something ethically questionable and academically fascinating. If the Udum were frostbitten scrotum dwellers of the north, the Azilla were the polar opposite. Blue, fire-worshipping freaks who treat combustion like foreplay.
Yeah, boy.
Batari, their queen, talks like a wellness guru who's one incense stick away from ritually roasting me alive. But before we take her on, Ubisoft throws me into the Liberator, slip into camp, bonk a few avatar extras, free some Wenja who definitely sharded out their ancestral trauma, and we're done. Then comes the Grand Theft Mask job, stealing the mask of Crutty, which is just Ubisoft dressing up a caveman smash and grab in fancy lore. You tiptoe through an Azilla temple while dodging pyromantic priests who definitely run a Discord called Batari's Backdoor Blessings, and yank the mask like you're doing a Neanderthal heist any percent speedrun. I escape, clutching it like a kid hiding a holographic Pokemon card from his emotionally damaged older brother. And then we hit the big fiery climax, the fall of Batari, easily one of the best missions and absolutely the most chaotic. Batari stands on a flame-soaked tower, surrounded by enough fire to get the entire Azilla tribe arrested for spiritual arson. Blue warriors swarm me like I just insulted their gangbang ritual, and I'm sprinting around dodging flames, screaming, and genuinely considering surrender just so the emotional hemorrhoids will stop. But the chaos doesn't stop. Warriors burn, platforms snap, I get roasted alive twice like a caveman rotisserie chicken, and at last I corner Batari in a fiery church of Sun Daddy worship. The final kill feels less like a boss fight and more like a messy breakup involving a bonfire and bad intentions, and she plunges into the flame she adored. Beautiful, traumatic, a yoga retreat for the damned. And with Batari roasted and all yeeted into the fossil record, the Wenja finally stand victorious. But me, oh baby, I'm nowhere near finished, because the real final boss isn't cannibals or fire-worshipping smurfs, it's the post-game platinum cleanup, and it's about to suck me dry like a prehistoric Dyson set to max suction. The first phase of cleanup is baby food. Capture every fort and outpost in Oros. Easy. A chunky udon base and one spicy Azilla rave tent. I just walked in, unleashed my Apex Zoo, and watched Bloodfang and Big Teddy reenact a nature documentary so violent it'd get banned for emotional sodomy. 10 outposts, vaporized. All outposts, double vaporized. Then came the joyless scavenger hunt, 80 random collectibles, which meant spelunking into every hole, crevice, and moist geological butthole on the map looking for handprints, cave drawings, and shiny ADHD artifacts left behind by the caveman who couldn't focus for more than 3 seconds.
Idiot!
But eventually, after grabbing my 80th piece of prehistoric rubbish, the trophy popped with all the enthusiasm of a wet sneeze into my dignity. Then came the hut upgrades. Every specialist living space had to be built, rebuilt, and pimped out until the Wenja village looked like caveman Beverly Hills with extra mold. Also, a bunch of NPCs could enjoy a comfier stick bed that still smells like mammoth's ass. Next trophy, climb a massive mountain and then yeet yourself off it. So I climbed Parakadu Lookout, a vertical death hike that feels like prehistoric CrossFit for your thumbs. Reach the top, absorb the view for approximately 3 emotional seconds, then swan dive off like a depressed Olympic diver with nothing left to lose. Then I stumble into Mark IV Wenja, the secret cave that looks like Ubisoft accidentally dragged and dropped a cyberpunk asset pack straight into the Stone Age. I walk inside and immediately get slapped with futuristic scraps, neon lights, and what appears to be a dragon who discovered rave culture and died from the emotional orgasm. And then, the platinum turns around and whispers, learn all the skills. That's when my soul quietly packed its bags, because expert Wenja isn't a trophy, it's a punishment from the gods. A prehistoric prostate exam administered by Ubisoft with sandpaper gloves. The skill tree in this game is a scam, a con, an elaborate prank cooked by a designer who definitely failed Year 9 maths and decided to emotionally gangbang the rest of us out of spite. You start with the bangers, more spears, more arrows, beast upgrades, actual meaningful shit, and then you slam into the wall. What's left after that? The most useless pile of primitive caveman dog shit upgrades ever conceived by a brain that runs on wet moss and depression. And if that wasn't insulting enough, Ubisoft had the audacity, the sheer gargantuan balls, to slap an XP cap on the game. You cannot grind, you cannot farm, you cannot murder your way to enlightenment. No, you must complete every leftover activity, escort, fetch quest, scavenger hunt, and caveman errand like you're the unpaid intern for the Wenja HR department, filing trauma reports for people who hid in bushes. By the end, I wasn't a warrior, I was a prehistoric administrative assistant, sprinting around Oros with my dick in my hand, praying the XP bar would twitch a single pixel before boredom killed me. And then, after hours of grinding every worthless ability, the final skill unlocked, the screen flashed, the trophy popped, and my remaining sanity evaporated like a fart in a forest fire. And finally, and that's the Far Cry Primal Platinum wrapped up. One of the most genuinely fun trophy slogs I've done. The game just lets you go absolutely feral, committing enough caveman atrocities to get banned from ancient history. The story barely exists, but the gameplay? A non-stop symphony of chaos that made my cock spiritually ascend, until I slammed face first into expert Wenja, the trophy equivalent of a caveman colonoscopy. A pointless, XP-capped slog through skills so useless they feel like cosmetic features for your IQ. It stretched the run out for hours and left a swampy ass imprint in my loincloth. But hey, compared to my last nightmare marathon, can you platinum God of War 3 with no upgrades? This was a goddamn spa day. If you haven't seen that video yet, go witness what true psychological erosion looks like. Anyway, thank you for sticking around, thank you for being the beautiful degenerates who keep this channel alive, and if you enjoyed watching me spiritually dissolve for shiny digital trophies, hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell me which game you want me to sacrifice my mental stability to next. Thanks for watching, love you all.